Hey guys, I'm Layla. Today we are checking out the lore story for Caolite the Asharrow in Raid Shadow Legends. Brand new legendary that just was introduced to the game in the Sylvan Watchers. Kind of looks like this demon tree, and I can't think what are the creatures that have like these legs like this. Reminds me of like Mr. Tumnus, right? From Lion the Witch of the Wardrobe. So like that reminds me very much like this guy, Pan, right? Has kind of like the similar design here. Yeah, he's got hooves. He does. So I'm curious about his story. I haven't read it all yet. I was saving it to read with you. So let's check it out together. Centuries ago, before his terrible fall in a pristine grove shrouded by dense canopy, reigned Caolite, Earl of Summer Oaks. His courtiers, elf and fey alike, admired his steady and compassionate leadership. He avoided conflict, content to charm the trees to grow tall and their roots to run deep. His domain lay close to the heart tree and basked in its proximity to the rhythm's source. Caolite had no inkling that deep within that tree there lurked the seed of corruption planted long before, waiting for the chance to grow and ripen. When one of the shadow god's servants awoke it, the effects of the Sylvan were devastating. Within moments, most of the heart tree's staunch defenders went mad, the rhythm seething with malevolent whispers and dark compulsion. The corruption spread from there, turning beasts in the mistwood into fodder for the creation of monstrous hybrids, and elves and fae into crazed, brainwashed agents of darkness. Caolite, living close to the tree and at the time visiting its exalted boughs, was among the first afflicted. The corruption felt like a flame within his oaken body, and he was made to resemble a tree struck by lightning with its trunk ignited. Caolite resisted with all his will and pulled himself away from the degenerate rhythm. But this only slowed his decay. As his mind afraid, he desperately ordered his servants and subordinates to flee. A lucky few did. Many more hesitated, only to be consumed by the corruption. And yet others, such as his court steward Ingrid, were already enslaved by darkness, lacking the fae's formidable mental defenses. As the fallen members of his lost house dispersed to spread the corruption like a virus, Caolite tried to isolate himself so he could not spread more misery. As the corruption battled him for command over his body, it repeatedly flared in strength like a fire stoked, and each time Caolite lost control of his actions. In those hours, or minutes of full degeneration, he slaughtered whole tree bastions of elves with hails of toxified arrows of corrupted ashwood. He sounded his horn, which once heralded the coming of summer and a time of delight and plenty. When the call was answered by a relieved and joyful Sylvan expecting the fae's help, he butchered or corrupted them. Later, Caolite's horrified mind regained command of his body, aghast at what he had done. He realized there was only one way to truly thwart his own recurring atrocities. Caolite reached the coast and commandeered a boat. He raced across the waves and came upon one of the many remote outlying islands off Mistwood's east coast. He ran the ship aground and burned it to ash with the fire of his own affliction. Moments later, a baleful red glow erupted from his eyes and mouth, and his formidable mind finally broke under the corruption's relentless assault. He was marooned, far from his homeland, and well removed from those he knew he would have harmed if he had stayed. Furious at his imprisonment, the corrupted Caolite poured foulness into the isle's vines and plants, making them writhe and twitch and crave corpses to fertilize themselves. The coral turned blood red, and the reefs churned with ravenous sharp-toothed fish. The insects grew monstrously large, and the birds and lizards that once preyed upon them became twisted horrors of bone-clawed thrashing muscle. But Caolite's new malicious personality was unable to devise a means of escape. His makeshift rafts were destroyed by waves and storms time and time again, even when he lashed the bloated bodies of corrupted animals together with thorny vines and grew plants with float bladders to avoid and aid in the buoyancy. The effort Caolite's corrupted persona extended on those attempted exhausted enough of its power to leave a crack in its mental stronghold. His old self rose up and tried to bridle the raging corruption, beginning an inner struggle that continues to this day. Over the centuries, many explorers have noted Caolite's island of strange, sickly, reddish-orange trees and vines and attempted landings. None have successfully surveyed it and lived. Some sickened upon setting foot there. Caolite's mere proximity is enough to overwhelm a mortal's body with foul corruption. Others he massacred with volleys of his noxious ashen arrows. To those in whom he sensed greed and malice by whatever warped standard remained within his added pate, he showed no mercy. Interlopers Caolite deemed innocent, he drove away in terror, sounded wailing, screeching blasts from his once sonorous horn. These few survivors say he speaks only poetry and laments, singing elegies of himself, a earl of summer, dwelling in a land perpetual twisted autumn, truly a fall. All right, guys, what do you think of this story? Yeah, so it seems like he has kind of like this poison ivy kind of vibe going on, except that his mind literally became twisted and corrupted. So it seems like there's a part of him, like a part of his psyche and a part of his mind that's still trying to fight that. Because in the end, it talks about like if he senses there's a malicious person, he basically kills them. But if he senses there's like an innocent person around, he tries to at least drive them away so that they aren't murdered, right? So this is the story for Caolite the Asharrow. I'd love to know what you guys think of the lore story. Drop me a comment down below, and thanks for watching.